We keep on getting new data that shows this is exactly like 2008 with a little bit of a twist. Right now, we just saw the biggest searches ever on Google for sell my house fast. That's what people are searching for right now. If you're looking to buy a home in 2025 or sell a home in 2025, even 2026, you're going to want to understand this data. Now, sell my house fast, that's already not something you want to see on Google. Right here, number of unsold completed homes for sale, we are hitting levels only seen one other time in history, and that was back in 2008. Now, every time I say anything about the housing market, people say, well, it's not happening where I live. It is happening where you live. It just may not be to the same level right now. It is not systemic yet, meaning it's not nationwide, but it is going to happen. We have all of the data showing us that. Texas, for example, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, there is so much inventory. It is up, let me see, in Dallas, up 46% right now of inventory compared to last year. Now, I mentioned there are some markets that are worse than others right now, and this is a major signal we just saw. New single-family homes for sale in the South, okay, in the South only, just the South region. We just broke the 2008 level. So when I say we're mirroring some of 2008 right now, we're...
And it cut off right there. But man, the market is in complete shambles, dog. Everyone wants to sell because prices are inflated. But no one can buy because prices are inflated. This is crazy, man. This is crazy.
This is what £600,000 gets you in Hackney next to Broadway Market. Come take a look inside. Through to my favourite part of the flat.
The system is fundamentally broken, or I should say the housing market is fundamentally broken. For the first time in history, the average age of a first-time home buyer in the US hits 40 years old. That means you're working a good 20 years into your career before you're even able to afford the mortgage on a home. Not to own it outright, just to get the mortgage. Simultaneously, the Trump administration is set to introduce a 50-year mortgage. And it's so crazy to me, right? They keep introducing these new terms and these new things and these new deals to incentivize people to buy these overpriced houses without ever tackling the real issue.
Right.
They keep lowering mortgage requirements, offering 0% down payments, and now they're going as far as to offer a 50-year mortgage. Think about it like this. If I was to buy a house at the average age of 40 years old and take out a 50-year mortgage,
90.
I would be 90 by the time I pay off my house, if I'm not already dead by then. And then the next question I have is, who are the people buying these homes and what wages do they earn to be able to afford a £600,000 council flat in Hackney?
A new build.
Because to me, that is ridiculous, because I grew up in an era of London where if someone said, come and meet me in areas like Hackney, where that house was, or Newham, or Tottenham, or Stonebridge, or Croydon, South London, I would tell them, are you mad? And now we live in an era where there are people selling these council flats from these areas for 600,000 Great British pounds. That's the equivalent of almost $1 million. To me, that's crazy. The system is fundamentally broken, and I think we just need to let it break.
Yeah. 50-year mortgages is a joke, bro. That's a terrible solution to the problem. And the problem is insane inflation due to $1,200 stimulus checks. The world could have shut down, done this and that, what it done. But the $1,200 stimulus checks is what turned everything. But if you look at any other country, the whole world is experiencing this insane inflation. So it's not just America in that we printed $1,200 and gave everyone $1,200. So, you know, it's way bigger than that, but that is definitely a problem, a part of it. And 50-year mortgages, all that's doing is, and 0% down payments is you're getting into a bad deal. That's what it is a bad deal.
Breaking news, 2 new reports just exposed how bad the U.S. housing market really is, and it's worse than anyone expected.
Is that right?
Right now, America is seeing the lowest home turnover rate in over 30 years. According to Redfin, only 28 out of every 1,000 homes changed hands between January and September 2025. People just aren't moving, and the main reason is simple. They cannot afford to. Even homeowners who want to sell are trapped because no one wants to give up a 3% mortgage for one that's double
Yeah.
and with a higher payment. So they're hanging on to old payments
Yep.
and staying put. And here's where it gets crazy. The National Association of Realtors says the median age for first-time home buyers is now 40. Back in the 1980s, it was 28. That shows just how much
Wow.
harder it's become to get into a home today. So here's who's buying right now as first-time home buyers. So 50% are married couples, 25% are single women, and 10% are single men. The biggest reasons people can't buy earlier: high rent and student loan debt. And to make it worse, the median down payment for first-time home buyers just hit 10%, which is the highest since 1989. So how are these 40-year-olds making it happen? Well, 59% are using personal savings, 26% are pulling from financial assets, and 22% are getting help from family or friends. That's a lot. But here's the real story no one's talking about. Most homes being sold right now that aren't first-time home buyers, they're going to repeat buyers, median age 62.
Yeah, who
using
have-
the home equity
yeah,
or
who
cash
have
to
equity.
buy properties outright.
Yeah.
Okay, or put a large down payment.
Yeah.
Now, to fix affordability, Donald Trump is proposing a 50-year mortgage to lower monthly payments and makes homes seem more affordable. But here's the problem. That would keep most Americans in debt for the majority of their lives. And you already know, if you follow me, that debt is simply a weapon that's used by people in power to control. Okay? Now, listen, it's a mess, but we're going to get through this together. So follow me for real updates on money, housing, and debt, not the watered down headlines. And in my next video, I'll break down the truth behind these 50-year mortgages.
50-year mortgages is just a joke, man. It's just a joke. Prices are going to have to come down, and they've been coming down. Like he said, these houses have been sitting, going on. It's going to be going on a year. You know, I looked at a property. I just made a video about it. The property's been sitting since April. It's had 2 pending sales, I believe, 3. The history of this property has been pending after pending, and the property is not worth what they just bought it for 2 years ago. Now he said something about you know, homeowners who are rate locked at the low rates. My parents actually bought at the perfect time. You know what I'm saying? Right before all this blew up, and when the interest rates were low, not 0%, but they got locked in at probably 3.5% interest rate. You know what I'm saying? And they locked in at a good house as well, at a good price, and it's appreciated. And you know, it's no point in getting rid of the property or even moving. You know, and that's where the market is at right now, man. Prices have got to come down, man. You know, and they're starting to. You hop on Zillow, everything's been cut. Everything is getting cut, man. And if you see a property, man, just because it's listed for something doesn't mean you can't lowball or offer less. You know, you can always lowball it out of them. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they bought 2 years ago, like that property I made the video about, they're probably not going to want to drop it too low. You know, but if they want out of it, they don't have no option. You got to take that loss. You bought at a terrible time, especially if you're trying to get out now. It's bad, man. It's bad, man.
Breaking news.
Housing prices are about to collapse 30% in 2025. We just broke the record for mortgage delinquencies. We smashed the 2008 record. That's right, that biggest housing collapse in the history of the world. We just broke the record for mortgage delinquencies right now, present day. Now, we've already entered a recession, and 2024 was a terrible time to buy a home. We know homes are too expensive. We know the normal mortgage payment. We know people can't afford the cost of living. There's no choice but for these prices to collapse. Now, I want to be clear. This is not single family homes. This is multi-family homes, but it's all interconnected. There is many people that bought at way too high and took on way too much debt. So by the end of this year, I expect single family homes to look identical to this, and I expect most areas to have an average of 20 to 30% of drop in home prices. We've already seen 10 to 15% in a lot of areas, but there are going to be some other areas of the country that get much worse than 20 or 30%. I don't think we're going to go back to 2018 levels, but we could see some places go back to 2020 levels for the home price.
Yeah, with interest rates still being around 6%, bro, they're gonna have to come down. They're gonna have to come down, and they've been cutting them. I believe they're gonna keep cutting it over time, and that's over time until it gets to a point. The price of homes are gonna keep going down, man. A lot of homes where I'm from, are older. Like that home that I looked at, they wanted 180,000 for it. It was built in 1982. It's got clear foundational issues, and then you see all these pending sales. Why are these people not following through with the property? And then why have you bought it 2 years ago, back in 2023, and now you're ready to get rid of it? Is it too expensive? It's got to be too expensive. Too many problems, And you look around, man, they're selling properties $200,000, 2-bed, 1-bathrooms, and this is Oklahoma. Now this is the biggest high school in Oklahoma area, suburb of Tulsa, but the prices are just too high, man. They're not even reasonable. They're not even reasonable, man.
Do you guys feel like rent is out of control? I don't know if you noticed in all these major cities or just cities in general, but it's absolutely bananas in a way that actually hurts. In some places, rents are up 40% since 2019. Take Pittsburgh. This one's going to blow you away. They're up nearly 48%, the fastest rise in the country. And even these coastal tech hubs like San Francisco, their rents bounce back hard. 1 bedroom averages, check this out, $2,810,
Woo!
up nearly 13% year over year in some zip codes.
Man, I pay $885 for a 1 bedroom, man. That's tough. Hey.
Meanwhile, landlords nationwide, 85% hiked rent last year in 2024, and 78% plan to rise them again in 2025, with an average increase of 6.2%. At that rate, the idea of affordable city living feels like a twisted joke. So what's the plan here? Are cities becoming exclusive resorts? Should renters just pack up and leave? Or is there a fix that we can all lean into, like building more houses? Do you guys?
Yeah. Rent is definitely crazy. I got a deal where I'm at, and it's a reason why it's a deal. It could be a lot better, but hey, I understand the market. I understand where AI is going. I understand tomorrow is not promised. So I live below my means and save and invest what I can, all I can, as much as I can,
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around.
Hey guys, don't judge me. I am at the salon. Anyway.
And my loves, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. If the housing market crashes, just know it will be war.
You gotta buy the dip at low ball.
Not literally, figuratively. But it will be a hassle to grab a house. For some, not all. Because majority of these residences, majorities of these houses, apartment complexes, townhouses, duplexes are owned by corporate.
Oh, you were so close. You had me right till the end. You're right about a lot of things. There's a lot of people waiting for a crash, and if we sniff any part of that, it will be a war. There's a lot of pent-up demand. There's a lot of people waiting for a little bit of a discount. But to say that the majority of anything is owned by a corporation,
it's not
narrative
true.
Is not true.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that a lot. That's not true, man.
Feel that way is we saw all the outbidding in 2020, 2021, and 2022. But that was very new. And the housing market's been around for a long time. Now, if you're in these specific markets, it's a little bit worse. And trust me, I am on your side on this. I don't think that these big institutions should be in the single-family housing market. But I have to tell the truth and make sure that we know the truth.
Fair game.
So we're not just getting mad over emotion, what we feel, right? So for example, in the Atlanta market, 1 in 4 rental homes, not 1 in 4 of all homes, are owned by institutional investors. that's someone that owns more than 1,000 homes. But the majority of rental homes is actually owned by mom and pop investors still. The other 76% is owned by other investors, mostly mom and pops, which is people with less than 10. So we have to make sure we know this to know.
It's not them. It's not the institutions who are raising your rent and buying these properties to where you can't get a good one. And no, it's not that, man. It's interest rates and home prices. And then, you know, a lot of landlords, this is why if you're a renter, you should probably be moving, you know, especially in an apartment, because, you know, they will raise your rent year after year versus, especially like something like an apartment, right? They usually kind of have like a first year. The rent is usually cheaper for the first year you move in there, and then as you've been there for a year, they're gonna raise your rent $100. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. So it can sometimes be cheaper to just move, you know. So that's an option as well. But I know not everybody wants to move, you know. But it's not that they're buying up these properties, man. It's the fact that some of these landlords are greedy and they do just want to raise the rent. They want to keep it at market. Some of them buy with just 20% down and that's it. And they don't, you know, and they're playing a number game themselves, you know. So they need the property to rent for this much in order to profit. You know, so you got that as well.
But we're fighting. But you are absolutely right that it would be an all-out war if there was any kind of housing crash. And that's kind of why there isn't. We've been pumping the brakes for 3 years. We have low sales. Everyone thought it was coming because that's what usually drives it. Low demand, houses start piling up, but it didn't happen, did it? And that's why for the last 3 years, I've shared the data on the housing market here to keep people updated on what is going on. So if you want to stay updated and see some of my other content, the older stuff, hit that follow and ask me questions. I don't mind answering them. I like the nerdy housing market stuff, and I know most people just want to know when is it going to be affordable. I don't mind talking about affordability options too. I like that stuff as well. I help first-time home buyers. That's how I started in real estate over a decade ago. I kind of miss helping them, to be honest with you. It's really hard these days. I still help some of them, but the options are a lot less. But I still have really good tips. New construction, lower insurance, especially in Florida. Seller paid buy downs. You don't have to pay to get your interest rate lower. Those are real feasible things that you can do.
I also forgot to include this graph. 40% of all homes are mortgage free. Majority of homes have a low interest rate, and that's why the market is frozen. Anyone thinking this is like
40% of all U.S. homes are mortgage free. 70% of U.S. homes have loans, home loans have rates less than 4%.
in 2008 can see the equity is completely opposite.
And my love, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. If the housing market
Housing prices are about to collapse.
50-year mortgages, good idea or bad? I did some calculations on Excel. For today's exercise, I took the median home price as of today, which is $405,967. Current 30-year mortgage rate is 6.22%, and the down payment is $0. For a 30-year loan, your monthly mortgage would be $2,491.69. Total interest you would have paid would be $491,042.49. And your total equity halfway through the loan, so at 15 years, would be $114,809.49. For the 50-year loan, your monthly mortgage would be $2,203.33.
To save $289. $280.
Interest you would have paid would be $916,028.13. The equity you would have accumulated for the 50-year loan would only be $71,021.58. By the way, this doesn't even account for the fact that longer loan terms have slightly higher interest rates. So yeah, like I said in my last video,
and you're paying more interest up front.
A 50-year mortgage is a terrible idea. Oh, and one of my very intelligent...
It's just a bad financial decision to sign up for a 50-year mortgage, man. Like at no point in your life, man. I'm 25 currently, bro. It's not even a good idea for me to do a 50 year. You know what I'm saying? A 30 year makes a lot of sense. You know, I could be 55. That's retirement. You know, like, hey, I think we're gonna wrap this video up right there, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the housing market, though, man. We on the road to 100K, okay? If you want to hit that like button, subscribe button, and turned on all notifications, slap the dog shit about yourself, because that's the first thing you should have did when you clicked on this video. I'll get at y'all on the next one, and I'm gone. T.Y. Peter 9.